When it comes to the health of our ecosystem, scientists say birds play a vital role. I'm Tisha Powell.
And I'm Lee Zurich. These animals are critical to many of the foods we eat, spreading seeds, pollinating plants, and controlling pests.
But a dramatic decline in bird populations has experts we spoke with alarmed, as they say it's often a sign of deeper environmental issues.
Here's our reality. Nearly a third of all bird species are now a high or moderate conservation concern, including 112 tipping point species, meaning they've lost more than half their populations in the last 50 years.
In an effort to bring back the birds, a group of students is stepping up with solutions.
Reporter Heather Graff tells us their story and shares a few ways each of us can help.
Soft feet, I'd recommend soft voices.
Birds love the rain because it makes puddles and they can drink.
On a soggy morning in Washington, D.C., these 7th graders from Sacred Heart School are on a mission.
We came to see what birds we could find and their migration process.
It's a trip to Rock Creek Park rooted in education.
I learned different type of species, different type of bird calls so I can identify them.
But for Abigail and her classmates, there's more to it than that.
We don't want them going extinct.
They're out here working to protect a migratory bird habitat.
They get a hands-on feeling for what it is to work on restoration and see the results of your work.
Steve Dryden is the director of Rock Creek Songbirds, an initiative focused on improving the environment for migratory birds.
There's the hermit thrush.
He's helping these young conservationists identify and remove invasive species like English ivy and bush honeysuckle, which can harm native plants and animals.
I know some of you know this answer. What we're trying to do is emphasize to the kids that, A, it's a very, very important place. We need to protect it. But B, we also need to do some very serious work to restore a lot of what's been lost.
Experts say this is more important now than ever because a recent report released by the North American Bird Conservation Initiative found that more than 200 bird species require urgent action.
This is concerning.
Amanda Rodewald served as Science Committee Chair for the 2025 State of the Birds Report, which found that since 1970, species like the Allen's Hummingbird, Tricolored Blackbird, and Saltmarsh Sparrow have all lost more than 50% of their population. The biggest declines, grassland and aridland birds like the Baird sparrow and Verdin. But in recent years, even duck populations, once considered a conservation success story, have trended downward.
We can't become complacent.
Researchers say there are many reasons why birds are disappearing, but the biggest among them?
Habitat loss and degradation.
Factors like residential development, rising sea levels, and crop clearing can damage and destroy natural areas, making them unable to support life. And Rodewald says the impacts can reach far beyond the birds.
We share the same environments with birds. And so if they're not healthy enough to support bird populations, they're unlikely to be healthy enough to support us.
It's very much a canary in the coal mine kind of scenario right now.
Jesse Walls is Senior Director of Government Affairs for the National Audubon Society.
What is at risk for these birds without intervention?
It is extinction. I would say the risk is extinction.
According to a recent study, more than 500 bird species worldwide could go extinct within the next century due to man-made threats. But Rodewald says it's not too late to turn things around.
We can take steps proactively to recover these species.
Steps like increased investment in conservation programs, stronger habitat protections, and policies that promote sustainable land management.
Those are measures that are tested and shown that they can really make a difference.
The bald eagle was once driven to the brink of extinction following the widespread use of DDT. The species has since made a remarkable comeback following strong legal protections and the pesticides ban in the 1970s.
Would you point to that as a success story, that conservation works?
Yes, 100%. We never want a bird species to go on the endangered species list. And seeing the laws passed for the bald eagles and gold eagles on those pesticides issues, DDT, that is a success. We want to see that happen to other bird species as well.
Walls says continued intervention at both the local and federal levels is needed. He points to one important law in particular.
The Migratory Bird Treaty Act is one of the preeminent bird conservation protection laws in the country.
The federal statute, enacted in 1918, makes it illegal to hunt, capture, or kill migratory birds without a permit. Bipartisan legislation was recently introduced that would strengthen and modernize it, keeping in mind today's environmental challenges.
Birds are one group that can actually unite us. They really cut across all demographic and political groups.
According to the recent State of the Birds report, nearly 100 million Americans engage in birding activities, which generate $279 billion annually for the economy and support more than 1 million jobs.
Birds are really economic engines.
That's why it's no small feat what these students back in D.C. are trying to accomplish.
We're hearing the cardinal tufted titmouse.
As they set out to save threatened bird species.
They love these berries.
And even share a snack with them.
Share the binoculars with everybody in your group.
Teacher Rihanna Fisher says it's a simple act that shows we're all connected. In a world we must all commit to protect.
How important is it to educate the younger generation about conservation?
I think it's one of the biggest things we can do for young people today. We can and should care for our communities and the places that we live.
Another conservation effort decades in the making is the Smithsonian Migratory Bird Center's bird-friendly coffee program. It promotes sustainable, shade-grown coffee farming practices that help protect bird populations and their ecosystems. Grown under a canopy of native trees, shade-grown coffee preserves the forest structure birds rely on to survive.
My program seeks to work with landowners and specifically farmers to help build the knowledge, the tools, and then market incentives to retain habitat in these farming landscapes. Every purchase of bird-friendly coffee supports a farmer that chose to keep habitat for birds on their land.
There are more than 100 roasters worldwide who are certified to sell bird-friendly coffee. To learn more, just head to investigatetv.com and search bird conservation. In Washington, I'm Heather Graff.
For those asking, how can I help? The Cornell Lab of Ornithology has a list of 7 simple actions, which include making windows more visible, keeping cats indoors, avoiding pesticides, and as we heard from Ruth Bennett, drinking coffee that's good for birds.